right, let's see if this is, we should be live. Let's hit stop right here. There we go. Okay, and I believe we are live on YouTube. Okay, this is Every Second Matters, August 2nd, 2018. All right, there we go. We're going to lock on Gizzard for a second here. Every Second Matters. I left my patch in the other room, so thank you. Okay, so I am Rupan RX. We are on my B-side channel. I still cannot live stream until September 7th, so until then, whatever live streaming will have to be done over here. Later, we'll be uploaded on my main channel where we can get some love and watch it. I put a little quick notification. Again, this was last minute. I thought tomorrow was the 2nd. I'm not paying attention. Been busy doing a lot of stuff. I've been working on a channel update, and I haven't even edited the video yet, and it's going to be useless by the time I'm done editing it. But I've been fooling around with some fun stuff. Got a project in the works, a side charging piston AR upper. I've been super excited about that. I have not drilled the charging handle yet, so for now you just got to grease gun it. But yeah, all right, let's break into it. We got some articles, but before we do that, we got some people in here in the room with us right now. So we're going to say hi to everybody. We're going to go from left to right. That's usually the way I do it. Starting with Gizzard, Mr. Gizzard Gary.
Hey, thanks for the invite, and every second matters, baby.
Awesome. Hell yeah. The next, we got Mr. John Z, the John Z Project.
Howdy. Thanks for the invite.
Awesome.
Rock on, 2A, rock on.
Hell yeah. Woo! All right. Now next we got Mr. Roosted Films.
Hey guys, how's it going? Appreciate the invite. I hope everybody took a minute or two today and tried to have a gun conversation with somebody.
Hell yeah. I did at my local smoke shop. Just hanging out, just talking nonchalantly. But next we're going to jump. Thanks for coming, Squib.
Hey, just here making plastic parts, you know, until the government shuts us down.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll get some cool footage throughout the episode. Maybe we'll get a cool shot of some injection molding machines or something. And last but not least, we have the Crazy Scotsman.
What's up, man? It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Awesome.
I don't have a fancy patch like Gizzard Gary, but I need to get me one of those.
If I can wind everybody up long enough to run the other room and run back, I can flash my patch. Alrighty, here we go. I don't believe we have anybody in the comments. Again, no big deal. We're going to move on here. We're going to jump right into my first topic. And let's see how we're going to do this. I don't have my mouse because I'm in my bathroom because I don't want to wake my family up. And it's like 1,000 degrees in here, which is nice. But, okay, here we go. Present to everybody. I'm not even sure which article I jumped on first. Okay, Boston Magazine. Here we go. We're scrolling down a little bit. Just a heads up again, if anybody wants to bring anything up who's in the room, go ahead and bring things up. If anybody, I forgot your email or something, and you're in the chat, say something. I'll pull the Alan B Pro or Jan is gay, and we'll throw the link right in the YouTube chat. Okay, apparently this article completely disappeared. Let me find out what this article was. Oh, somebody brought this up. I didn't really read about it, but Massachusetts House of Representatives passed an automatic voter registration bill. If it becomes law, eligible residents will be added to the state's voter database when they renew their driver's license at the RMV or apply for health care through Mass Health. So I think it's the guy at Mass Gun Rights who he was complaining that they didn't add gun owners. Like if they're going to go that far, why wouldn't they add gun owners? And he was trying to say that it's like, you know, discrimination, and they're going to auto. And the case he was trying to make, I believe he was trying to make, is that by adding all these people, they're going to blast a bunch of fear tactics, and having all these extra people registered is going to help them get votes. So I don't know. I don't really care that much. I mean, I guess I mean if you're a gun owner and you're not registered to vote, you're not paying. You're not. You're asleep at the wheel. And that's not really a. It's not really an insult, but I mean, you're definitely asleep at the wheel.
Well, those are the people that really don't have a right to complain later if they're going to be sleeping at the wheel.
Yeah, and this is a super Democrat state, so that's a lot of people's excuses or all sorts of other excuses. It's just a heavily Democratic state, so.
Well, I mean, it's even here. Like I had a customer earlier. I was talking to him about voting and everything else because I'm going for my citizenship this year, and he, well, I don't vote. Like, what do you mean you don't vote? He's like, well, it's a numbers thing. Like, okay, explain. And he's like, well, it's a mathematical equation. I've got it figured out that my vote don't count. I'm like, dude, you support guns. That means you need to vote. I don't care if you think it matters or it doesn't matter, you gotta vote every damn time.
That's a piss poor attitude. I couldn't imagine being a gun owner, not being registered to vote and thinking it don't matter.
He's registered, but he doesn't vote. He's literally told me today he figured out a mathematical equation to where his vote don't matter. And I'm just like, dude, that's bullshit.
Yeah. He should ask the gun owners in California, how many gun owners is there, about their mathematical equation and not voting.
Yeah, there's a special word for that, and I think the word is stupid.
Personally, I just can't stand people who are so lazy. Their thought process is so freaking lazy, because you take one of them, then you add another one and another one and another one, and sooner or later you have a whole bunch of, I don't know what to call them, but it's definitely not a good word. They're definitely not good words I'm thinking about. But you have enough of them to actually make a difference, but because they think individually, it eventually comes down to not mattering their votes because they don't care, and it's just a bad attitude, a really bad way of thinking.
It is, and that's what I try to tell him. I'm like, hey man, you got to think about this. How many people are out there like you that go, well, my vote don't matter? Take all of those, put them together, throw them in the voting pool, and guess what? Your vote matters.
Damn straight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a serious amount of people. I mean, especially even in mass, you couldn't even imagine how many gun owners probably don't vote and don't care. I mean, well, they do care, but they just believe that it's just, erroneous or whatever, just ridiculous, it's not going to matter, but it does matter. But, I mean, it's their right if they don't want to. I mean, they don't have to vote if they don't want to. But, that it is a good thing to point out that that's total BS. It's just crap. That's a stupid reason. Like, if you don't want to vote, just say you don't want to vote. Say, you're lazy. Say you don't care enough. That's fine. But to say, like, I got, like, a secret mathematical equation hidden, I wrote it on a napkin, and I figured out that I don't count. So what? My vote, people have tried to shame me and say my vote doesn't matter in this state. I don't care. I'm voting anyways.
And the only thing I don't have the right to do right now is vote. But when I get my citizenship, guess what? I can vote. So why do you think I'm going for my citizenship? Because I want to make sure we protect the rights that we frickin' have.
Yeah, or don't have in this state. I'll get to that in a minute. Actually, I got to pull that article up. Let's jump over to the next article. And let me know if I'm too quiet. Because sometimes I don't know if it's my hearing or I got tinnitus, or as the docs of the VA said, tinnitus. But
no, you sound fine.
Yeah, you're loud enough this time, even for me.
Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. All right, here we go. I read this and I laughed my ass off. This was this is Will Brownsberger is a state senator, and he's not from my area. He's a Democrat. He's for everything I'm against. But what I like about him is he has set up a website where you can comment. He reaches out for comments. He answers stuff you send him. And I like that he actually does, talk to us, see what's going on. He gets comments. So I read this anyways. It's by this guy, whoever Dan Winter is. And a failure to make firearms safer. The only thing more tragic than the killing of the Weymouth police officer and a bystander by a high or deranged suspect with the police officer's handgun this past weekend is the fact that this is bad writing here. Is the fact that these deaths could have been prevented by smart gun technology. If the Commonwealth required police departments to use this technology for on-duty weapons. When will the legislature at least require a trial of these smarter weapons? They're real smart. I immediately jumped on this, and apparently a bunch of other people did too. So I was going to try to find my post, but you know what? I'll just paraphrase it. If you don't know what this smart technology is, as far as I know, it is a 22 long rifle pistol that uses RFID technology. That's the only smart pistol that I know of, and I see it more as a proof of concept pistol, and not, if I'm good luck getting a police officer willing to carry one of these 22 long rimfire pistols as their thing. What do the criminals need? RFID blocking technology. Now the cops can't shoot anybody. Cops using 22 rimfire is ridiculous. I mean, even if they made like a 9mm version, still it's RFID technology. I mean, this guy's
because we all know how well technology works.
There's been prototypes of them for years, whether they recognize your fingerprints or whether or not you wear a wristwatch, and as long as it's behind that wristwatch, it knows it's in your hand. But it's not reliable, and yeah, I wouldn't want it. I can't believe a law enforcement officer would want it. I mean, it's something where somebody could figure out a way to jam all the frequencies, and every criminal would want to put a jammer app on their phone or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that, or they might find other technology. Maybe they'll make it so the RFID is in the police officer's hand, so therefore it's close enough where a jammer wouldn't do it. I don't know. I mean, pretty much what they want. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this Bloomberg article here, but that's the pistol I was talking about, and it just like the 3D printed Liberator. It's just a proof of concept. It's not. One of the things I said is, I'm interested in this technology, yeah, but I mean, to even mess with this type of stuff, you're going to want to have like an FFL07 and an SOT, because the ATF is going to be like, you got electronic trigger groups. What are you doing?
I'm just going to say it, and people can knock me if they want, but that looks worse than the freaking High Point, for goodness sake.
I was going to say it looked like High Point went into, a new model and decided to come up with a 22 and sleeking it up a little bit.
Well, I don't know, Squib, do you remember when this came out, like the mid-90s?
I want to say mid or late 90s. I thought Colt did a prototype. I thought they were one of the companies that did a prototype on it. This is a thing that if Leo wanted it, they've had 20 years to promote this, to get the technology improved and whatnot. And as far as I know, not even Leo in the liberal states has pushed for this. I mean, could you imagine you're in a protracted fight and the recoil somehow or another shocks one of these sensitive electronic components, and then the damn thing just doesn't work? It's a brick at that point. It might as well be a High Point, right? I mean, I would not want that.
Yeah. Now, I've seen the video of the high school kid with the Beretta where he's trying to use biometrics. My thing would be, you could probably get away with using something that picked up a heartbeat, but it's still ridiculous. I mean,
Well, let me ask you this: that if it jams up, are you able to clear it if the watch is broken or the other mechanism is broken, or are you just straight up screwed?
Who knows with this pistol?
You would be straight up screwed, because if it's something where just turning it off or something else would override it, then they just leave it in override all the time, or what would be the whole point? So
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though: is police have like double and triple retention holsters, and that's
Can I
just
can I throw something in there as well?
Yeah, go ahead, please do.
All right, so let's say this technology worked, and for those with half a brain, we already know it does not work. It is not proven yet. Let's just say, for instance, because we all know this never happens, that a suspect fleeing from the police gets caught and now wants to start fighting with the police. What happens if that watch or armband comes off during a scuffle? What do you do now?
Gun, man.
you bludgeon them with that club that's in your hand now. That's what it becomes, a club, right? Or a boomerang.
Exactly. So it's just adding one more layer to guarantee or make it at least highly likely for the officer trying to do their job to get injured or, God forbid, worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing like old school technology, straight up just regular slap, rack, and roll, and move on and get it done.
Yeah, totally agree. You're ridiculous. I mean, the stuff, it will, I mean, it may come, but for right now, I mean, I wouldn't, if I needed my cell phone to work in order to use my pistol, or, I would never trust anything like that. I mean, I wouldn't, I mean, if you're talking like an electronic trigger that runs off of a 9-volt battery and it's like an easy switch, like, sure, I'd play with that. But if you need something like a circuit board that needs to have logic, or it needs to network with something, or Bluetooth communicate, forget about it. Like, that's why, I was joking around, fooling around with the idea of using like a heartbeat sensor to unlock it. So therefore you could make the whole grip pretty much be a heartbeat sensor. But I mean, I looked into it and I was like, it's still ridiculous. Like,
if they issued these things, I would think there'd be a lot of officers that would be going to their backup gun first.
Yeah, but what's I agree, but what's even more dangerous is how much liability you're going to open yourself up to. Like, you're just going to be attacked. An officer shoots himself with it. Like, they're going to blame you. Oh, it was a smart gun technology. I didn't know what I was doing. It's this. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I could see this stuff never even coming to light, because there's going to be so much BS that comes with it.
Well, that, and people buy guns based on reliability. You buy guns that you know are going to fire every time you pull the trigger. I mean, that's a big deal. If you don't think it will, you're not going to carry that gun. You're not going to buy that gun. So now you're going to spend twice as much on a gun that by default may or may not fire, depending on whether or not this interlock system that they've devised works or not. So you're taking a reliable weapon and making it potentially unreliable, and that's protecting your life, as a police officer? No, I don't think so.
The eye gun.
Yeah. Or I mean, that kid with the fingerprint sensor on the Beretta is just so retarded. Not a political correct word, but it's just so ridiculous. Like, come on, dude. Here's a great article. The conclusion's the best with this one. One less gun. BPD, Boston Police Department officers arrest 4 suspects while recovering 4 loaded firearms during 4 separate incidents in less than 9 hours. So pretty much, a bunch of people get arrested, and all these guys are probably going to be let off with slaps on the wrist, because they only go after law-abiding citizens with carry permits. They really only throw the book at them. These guys, they're just, they're harmless. Look at this guy. He had a Taurus PT 111 G2. That's a gun that's never been on the Massachusetts list. Bastard. But so here's the Commissioner Evans. As I've said over the course of my 4+ years as commissioner, that there are too many guns on our streets and in our communities. The result of my office's efforts in the recovery of 4 illegal firearms in just one night proves that. Fewer guns means fewer opportunities for senseless acts of violence in our city. And thanks to the hard work of the men and women of the Boston Police, there have been 40 fewer shootings compared to last year at this time. So you're full of shit. And I threw the extra Boston accent in there for him because he's got a thick Boston accent. But
that was perfect, man. And if you guys don't know, the PT 111 G2 is Cleveland's go-to gun. It used to be the High Point, now it's the GT2, the PT 111 G2, because you can get it so cheap, and it's more reliable than a High Point. So everyone's bought that gun now.
Gary, do you have a PT 111?
Yeah, I do. And I'm wondering, it said they defaced the serial number. Well, the serial number is on about 3 different places on that gun. That's a hell of a lot of work. It's on the barrel. It's on the slide. I think it's on a little label underneath the slide too.
It's underneath the slide. It's on the slide. It's on the slide, and it's also on the barrel as well, I believe, on that particular model.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, I don't like this guy. He does not like civilians having guns. He absolutely does not like them. He doesn't like anybody else with guns, except for his police officers, or maybe the state police. So yeah, he has said this for years. He thinks, there just needs to be less guns. We need to take them. Just needs to be less. I don't like the guy. Whatever. He can have his opinion, but.
Obviously, these Massachusetts gun laws ain't keeping the guns off the streets.
Yeah, I mean, they just totally blame. Here's one gun that was reported stolen in Hooksett, New Hampshire, a Taurus 740 Slim. We're gonna have to call Scott. We have to call Scott and see if it was his Taurus now. But yeah, so I mean, everybody always blames the 3 states around us. They blame Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. It's these states have loose gun laws. Therefore, the guns just get funneled in like crazy. And that's total BS, because if that was true, they would have higher crime rates. If there's syndicates of criminals funneling guns into the state, there'd be lots of crime from those syndicates. Or mobs, or whatever the hell you want to call them. There'd be crime there, and the crime rates are nothing. Yeah, I mean, there's like one bad place in New Hampshire, and I was arguing with somebody.
This guy needs to take a look at Chicago.
Yeah, I was arguing with somebody on Facebook, and I actually went as far as to look up and compare and contrast the crime rates of different cities in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. I mean, you can look it up yourself. Just go to google.com and look it up. I don't have time to look through my 4,000 photos to find that, but yeah, it's ridiculous. Next, we're going to go to this quick little article right here, which is just silly. It's very, very Massachusetts. Here we go. I just got to screen share it. Oh, Roosted, if you want to say anything or jump in, feel free, man.
Right on. I'm still here.
Cut me right off if you need to. You got something to say.
Let's hope it don't come to that.
Oh. All right. Mass town's entire police force quits, citing unsafe conditions. I have no idea where this is. Blandford, Massachusetts. The entire 4-member police department of a small western Massachusetts town has resigned, citing poor equipment, unsafe working conditions. Apparently, the cruisers were falling apart. The body armor didn't fit at all. Must have been like free body armor. Apparently, the state police are just going to pick it up. Oh, they're committed, and they're going to steal all your shit through. I'm just joking around here, but we have no idea how much the state police takes through civil asset forfeiture. We're not allowed to see that information, so it's definitely a problem in the state. don't know if it's a problem in any of your states, but alrighty. Let's jump to the next one. We are going to jump over to this real quick. I did not do an Every Second Matters last month. I was waiting for this to happen. It did not happen in time, and I don't know. I was kind of pissed off, and I just didn't make a video. Yeah, I had some excuses, but whatever. Here we go. Governor Baker signs bill strengthening Commonwealth gun laws. Our Republican governor signed the Extreme Risk Protection Order. It's an act relative to firearms. I've been told by many people that it does not break the law, and it does not avoid due process. It totally does. If somebody, I had to explain it this way to some people. If the police show up at your house and take your shit without even suspecting you of a crime, how is there any due process? Like, yo, you'll get your day in court within 10 days. That's not, they can't just show up at your house without even suspicion of a crime and confiscate your property. But that's literally what this bill allows. Now, if you frame it in that frame, because some people don't give a shit about guns. They absolutely do not care about guns. So you bring it up to them in that manner, and they're like, holy shit, that does sound dangerous, and that does sound unconstitutional. Yes! Does anybody else want to comment on this? Nobody?
All I gotta say, man, is I lost all mine in a boating accident.
Yeah. Well, in Massachusetts, we have an online portal, so they know what guns I have here. They claim it's not.
They don't know if you're on a boat.
Yeah. Well, you got it within 24 hours. I think you gotta say, report them lost. But yeah. So, go ahead.
Too bad you lost them when they showed up to your door.
Yeah. All these people, they're so happy. Like, we need to stop senseless tragedies. It keeps I talked to my representative. Oh boy, and now I'm forgetting his name. He sent me a letter back. I believe he's an Army Reserve or National Guard JAG lawyer. Oh man, but I got to remember his name real quick here. So he pretty much said this absolutely holds due process, and that's fake news that it doesn't. Does not hold due process. And I mean, if he's watching this video, that's BS, dude. It's total BS. I've never been a lawyer. Like, I've never given anybody legal advice, and I shouldn't. But if you're going to tell me that having someone confiscate guns on suspicion or someone being worried is just ridiculous. And then my next question is why the hell, if these people are so dangerous, you need to confiscate their guns, then why the hell are they not being sent for a mental evaluation as well? Does that process have to happen? That process does have to happen separately. So that's bullshit. If you got someone who's so crazy, the guns need to be removed now. They need to be put in a padded room and be evaluated, because they're not going to stop. Like, just taking their guns away, that ain't going to stop them, pal. I don't know what these people are thinking, but.
Let's just take a look at the picture. I mean, look at all the people in the picture. How many of them look like red-blooded Americans? How many? Zero. They all look like liberal snowflakes.
Yeah, I mean, we got Charlie Baker right here. I forget everybody else's name. Here's somebody from Stop Handgun Violence. That's the guy who said if there was a bill to make suppressors legal, and I think this might be him over here. That might be John Rosenthal. Maybe this is him. I'm not sure. But he said that if they made suppressors legal, then gang members would be murdering people in the streets silently. That's a very rough paraphrasing, but that's literally the point he tried to make.
That is an extremely retarded statement. Extremely retarded. Yeah.
Charlie Baker also just recently signed the grand bargain. So he's really not you can't even say he's a conservative rhino, because he's not. I don't even know if the term rhino even fits anymore, but at all. But we got all of our fun buddies here. Cynthia Cream. I don't know Harriet Chandler that much. Robert DeLeo, he hates guns. Governor Karen Polito, she's real great too about guns. Yeah, great. Yeah. So, anyways, all right, moving on to the next. That happened. So if you're an old lady next door is afraid and scared and sees your Trump sticker on the car and knows that maybe she sees you with your range bag one day, and she gets her neighbor to both call the police on you and say, we think he's going to kill us, we think he's going to kill somebody, then they can get your guns taken away. And what is the evidence even going to be? What, an angry Facebook post? It's so ridiculous. I don't see it helping anybody, but whatever. All right, it happened. Okay, next thing we're going to move on to is 3D printed guns. There has been some insane fear mongering, and I love to see other people who aren't big on guns post, don't buy into this crap. He changed this. This was originally different. It didn't say this. I didn't screenshot it. So pretty much he jumped on the fear mongering train, saying that these are going to be making it coming to an airport near you. Obviously, it doesn't say that anymore, but coming to an airport near you because you're going to be able to sneak a firearm, a rifle, through airport security without a problem. Absolutely ridiculous. We're going to cut over to Maura Healey. She's had more than a couple posts talking about how downloadable guns mean death. This thing is going to be an assault killer. Yeah, sure, they're going to be able to. So I'm pretty sure that's a piece of metal right there. Some of the other photos, they have metal pins. There's bullets right here. They're going to be sneaking bullets through the metal detectors. Any of you guys want to plug in on that?
Well, the funny thing is, and I'm glad you showed that other dumbass first, is he went to fearmongering going, it's non-detectable in airports and so on and so forth. And if they want to jump in and kill you on a plane, they can do that. No, the barrel's metal. It's not plastic. Because if you try to shoot through a barrel like that, guess what? It's going to heat up pretty damn fast. So it's a metal barrel. It's a metal trigger of some sort. Maybe a plastic trigger. Could be. But the hammer's more likely a metal hammer. So somewhere along the lines it's going to get detected.
Well,
firing pin damn sure better be metal.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's a proof of concept gun. Here we go with proof of concept again. So it's really not very good. And some people say you can fire 3 shots. I wouldn't fire more than 1 through that. You're gonna have a pipe bomb on your hands. And then people are saying they're using 380. Well, they got metal firing pins in it. It's got no ejector and no extractor. So to me, I see a giant 22 long rifle Derringer that's unreloadable and it's single use. What a piece of shit. You could make a slam fire shotgun that would do much more damage than that thing could ever do with $20 at Home Depot. So here's my favorite one. This is my favorite thing. I saw it on Facebook. I immediately screenshotted it at this, what he's saying right here. Senator Blumenthal's from Connecticut, where Psycho Camp's from, and Ghost Guns, coming to a theater near you, coming to a school near you, coming to a sports stadium. He just keeps going on. And now, these are undetectable, untraceable. Forget about the TSA guarding that plane you're on board. Yeah, because, of course, they're going to sneak a freaking full metal rifle through there. It's just, look, this one even has an A2 front sight on it. Like, come on, dude. Are you that retarded?
But that's just what they do, man. It's all the fear mongering. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And don't forget.
Look at them. The first thing you said is 3D printed ghost guns coming to a theater near you, coming to a school near you. They're throwing out the things that people don't want to happen.
Well, they want to build their false narrative based on emotions. It's not built on facts. And if we go back to, I don't know, say the day Donald Trump got elected president, the fact checkers that they use say everything is false and a lie and whatever. But if you use the honest fact checkers, they will prove that over 90% of everything that's done on the left is a lie and built from emotions. There's no facts to it. So I'm not surprised that they're continuing these false ads. They know they're lying and they continue to get away with it. This is the only method they have. And it's pretty sad.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people thanking the politicians, like, oh, thank you for making us safer. It's like, this is so ridiculous. You know, my brother even brought it up to me. My brother, who's not a pro NRA guy at all, and he's a Bernie Sanders fan. He was like, dude, he's like, this is totally the Glock 7. He's like, how the hell are they going to get bullets through? It's like, good point, man. I didn't even think of that point. But, I mean, you're talking about, yeah. I mean, 3D printed guns are going to get there, but it's ridiculous to insinuate that, you know, they're doing pretty much the same thing that they did with the Glock 7. You know, the hysteria, man. You're gonna die.
But we all know that most of the public is uninformed, like our politicians apparently. They believe the movies. They believe the TV shows. They believe I mean, you've gone to the gun shows. You'll even hear gun guys run around and make up lies about impossible things and just stuff like that. Just people believe, because not everybody. I mean, I'm not making an excuse for it. It's sad that guns are a big part of the American culture, and people don't know that. But how many people can name off 2 or 3 amendments in the Bill of Rights to explain what they mean? Probably not that either. It's sad.
Yeah, I had a lady at a gun shop. It doesn't matter that she's a lady, but I haven't been back to that gun shop because I asked her if I could see an M1A. They had like an M1A tactical version in there. And she's like, oh, you mean that assault rifle right there? I almost left the shop right there.
Yeah, well, it's just like when people come into the shop and they go, hey, can I see that assault rifle? Sorry, sir, I don't have an assault rifle. Would you like to see the AR-15? Let me explain that to you. And then I break it down. Dude, don't walk in and call shit an assault rifle. There's no such damn thing as an assault rifle. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, there is. The Sturmgewehr. Just go in the back, you know? It's just like in Commando. You flip a button, the wall flips around, and you've got all that stuff hidden behind the wall, right?
Hey,
when people come into your store, don't zombie
Don't be
explain
calling out my back room, man. Come on, dude. Stop.
You'd be like, oh, you mean the Sturmgewehr. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Don't zombie
I gotta
explain.
keep that shit on the low, man. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I still haven't been back to that shop, but now that I'm a constable, apparently that guy, I'm gonna go there and he may give me some sort of a deal on a pistol. I don't know. I got my Canic, but I got to look for a good holster. So a lot of the guys are just using Serpas, but I want to have at least like a dual retention. I don't want someone to, you know, I'm not a fan of Serpas either. Oh, hey, we got a new addition here. Welcome, Dead Horse.
Yo.
Thanks for stopping by. This is Every Second Matters, August. You can totally invite David. I already sent him an invite through email. Yeah, we're kind of getting closer to the end, but I mean, we can re-go over some of the stuff. Or if you have something at the end, we'll have a spot where if anybody wants to bring anything up that's going on in their state, they definitely can. All right, so this guy is ridiculous. And I just, to make my point even clearer, I loved that, like, I loved how perfectly I shared this exact photo. And it's just, like, people can't argue with me that what he's saying is not absolutely ridiculous. That was my favorite thing about it. I literally don't even have to point out how ridiculous this guy is. I was going to write like a real preachy post about it on Facebook, and I was like, dude, I don't even have to write a preachy post. This guy's just ridiculous. I mean, it's nonsense what he's saying here. Let's see if I can go to the next photo here. There we go. All right, can everybody see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Somebody posted this on Facebook in one of like the Maura Healy things. I don't know what mag that is. If that's like a Sten mag or an Uzi mag, I have no idea. But maybe it's a homemade mag.
You probably made the mag too.
Yeah, I mean that looks like some channel. Maybe. I mean, so I made it a meme. I immediately saw it and was like, "Oh my god!" And I thought of a quick tagline, and I threw in the troll face right here. I wanted the other one, but my free app didn't have it. So, but it looks like he's using maybe an AR-15 trigger group here.
I think you can actually get blueprints for that exact rifle by it's a book. I think it was a British guy that wrote it.
Oh, the Dooley or Duty or something?
Something like that, yep.
Pooley? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it looks a lot like that gun from Forgotten Weapons. He did a couple episodes on it. I mean, you'd have to do some sort of heat treatment to that, right? I mean...
Well, no, and just like you say in your post, man, we just got to go to Home Depot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not even bringing up the slide fire shotguns, because obviously those are the easiest things to... And they're very dangerous. I was reading an article about India. That's like the go-to thing in India. You want to kill people? Just work up your own slide fire shotgun, slam fire, and then all you got to do is just spin the pipe around and load another shell in. You don't even have to knock the old shell out. But yeah, so I mean, if you don't know, people to really get off of just the 3D printed guns, people have been able to make guns for an unbelievable long amount of time. Whether it was metal or wood or however they were making them, it's something that you can do in this country.
Well, there's blueprints all over the internet for make your own metal guns at home. Everybody's just freaking out because now they think you can push a button on a 3D printer and 20 minutes later you got a fully automatic weapon.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, the what do you call it? The criminals are gonna be using this like crazy." It's like, no, they're not. They're gonna go get some stolen guns for nothing.
You pick up some Tauruses on the cheap.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna fool around with any of this shit, building their own guns. Maybe one or two of them, but I heard that they caught some gang with 80% Glocks, and I was like, do you know how much money that would have cost them compared to just buying stolen guns? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, they can buy the guns on the same street corner that they buy and sell their drugs. It's not a big deal. Stealing guns out of people's houses is as easy as stealing jewelry, cash, electronics, any of that stuff. There's lots of old people who have guns for protection that they've had since the 60s or before that they don't keep locked up because they don't have kids or the way they grew up and the way they always lived, they never had no gun safe. And that's the gun that they're taking. Or they're breaking into the rail yards and they're stealing things out of the rail cars. And in a few cases, at least twice recently in Chicago, they've stolen the rail car that wasn't locked up that was full of guns. So there's all kinds of ways for them to easily get these guns that they can turn around, flip for a low price, and then use it to go buy drugs or whatever the heck they do. And that's how these criminals have these guns. Now, that's not to say that there aren't people who have guns legally that flip out one day and go and do some of these crimes. And it's not to say that there aren't kids who steal grandpa's shotgun or dad's rifle or something like that and it's because they're in the home or they're in the relative's home down the street and they know where it's at. But once again, it's still stolen, more or less. So these things that they're talking about doing it's not going to affect the criminals at all. And if for some reason they stop selling guns to the population, to the law-abiding citizens, and for some reason or other they confiscated all of our guns, the criminals will get the guns where they've been getting the drugs. They will come across the border. And then these criminals will have military weapons. They'll have legit military weapons, military ammunition, and they'll be getting it from the cartels.
Yeah, like what do you call it? The Operation Fast and Furious. Apparently, I couldn't really see how confirmed it was, but the rumor was that the guns used in Paris to kill all those people at the concert were actually some of the guns from Operation Fast and Furious.
There's
Wouldn't
a
surprise me.
Wasn't a Border Patrol agent killed by one of them?
I think also, yeah, I'm pretty sure that happened too. But I heard that those guns were sent to what do you call it? Were passed off to the ISIS guys by the drug cartels and used in Paris. I don't know how true that is, but anyways, looking at Dead Horse here has a 3D printer, and I am jealous because I hope he's making a Liberator.
Oh, I've made quite a few gun parts on this. I don't really have an interest to make like guns in it because I have other machinery to do that, right? You know, drill presses and stuff like that. But you know, so I'd rather use something like this that's aluminum, or even buy something that's already done that's plastic like this, an 80%er, and you know, make something out of those than to print it on that. But still, I've printed up quite a few grips and all sorts of different parts and prototype parts and just, you know, like all sorts of stuff from around the house. I mean, this is the future right here. I mean, like as these get more and more advanced, I mean, pretty soon you're going to have something like this in your kitchen and you're going to tell it, make me pizza. We want pizza for dinner. And it's going to print you a 3D fucking pizza. And I mean, like they're already doing that on the space station. So printing 3D food and stuff. So, but 3D printers, I think, yeah, are the future. The government's not going to be able to regulate it. They're going to try, they're going to fight, they're going to fucking lose. That's all there is to it. It's just, there's no way. They're talking about this one website that's, you know, releasing this stuff, really one lawsuit involving one company. Well, guess what? All those same files have been out on 1,000 other different websites for years now. They're just not as high profile and they haven't been picked on. But yeah, they're out there. They're out there everywhere. They're making a big deal that these files are released. I've already had these files downloaded from like Thingiverse from years ago and stuff. I mean, like it's no, yeah, it's like it's no real new thing, really. Not to the guys who are already in to 3D printers. To get to people who don't have a 3D printer and who aren't into it, to them they're like, oh my god, they're printing guns. To us, it's like since these things have first come out, people have been doing that. So for years and years now, it's nothing new. It's
so in the automotive. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Sorry.
In the automotive industry, just like I'm sure a lot of other manufacturing, there's quality control checks on your final product. And one of the things that they can do is they can actually map the part. It's called H-pointing. And they've got a machine with a little probe on it, and you touch all the corners of the part, and it makes a 3D image of the part. So if it's got, you know, funny edges or shapes or whatever, you just touch on you may have to touch it 60 different points or something like that, as opposed to just 4 or 6 points. And it will make a 3D image. And there's different software that can read that image, and they can input it into a machine, and it'll print out a 3D model. Say you wanted to make a change to the part and you wanted to see how it would work, but you didn't want to spend all the money to redo the tooling because it might fail. You can print out a 3D model or something like that. What would stop somebody from taking gun parts, taking apart one of their guns, breaking it down in every single part, going into work on a Sunday when nobody's there, going into the metrology lab, firing it up, placing each part in there, mapping it out, putting it on a flash drive, going home and putting it on the internet?
They already do that. But they do it much easier. They convert that Xbox thing, that Xbox thing that like 3D scans your room with lasers, right? Like invisible lasers as you're playing. So it makes a map of you. They convert those and use a turntable and basically use lasers to map the part at home. They don't even got to go to their shop. They buy a $200 Xbox piece. That's $200 and use an old record player, and now they're they're laser mapping their parts the exact same way.
So in the same sense, somebody could machine something in their garage with all these smaller machine tools that they're making available. They're affordable. They run on 110, stuff like that. Or somebody could go into the machine shop or the tool room at their factory and do this. They've got the ability to scan it at home now as well.
Oh yeah.
So since it's been around all this, or it's readily available and it's been around for a long time, what is the deal with? I mean, why isn't one of our gun organizations, NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, somebody going to the government, going to these senators and saying this? Do you realize that people have been making gun parts at the auto plant for decades to fix their shotguns?
Well, and people have been making, people have had mini lathes, tabletop lathes and mills for years and years and years and years. So people really have been making their own guns at home on small, easily read, easy equipment to get that you can just order out of a catalog that sits right on your bench. People have been doing that for years. I made my first 1911 like 8 years ago or something like that. My first 80% 1911. So, but people will make a 100% 1911. They'll take it from a solid block. And if you have just a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of skill, or are willing to learn, because anyone can really learn it, anyone can do it. It's not a big deal. And they're just making a stink out of it right now because there's a lot of people who don't know that. They're just not educated. They don't know guys have been making their own guns in their basements since like the 40s and 50s, like Elmer Keith, and stuff like that. That guy literally had made his own gun in his basement, from just nothing but scrap metal. Like he didn't even start off with a frame. So, I mean, like people have been doing that since forever, man.
Porcelain doesn't show up on your airport x-ray machine, so it costs more than you make in a month. You'd be surprised what I make in a month.
Sorry to put that in there. Hey, what's up, HVS?
Hey, just cruising on by. Want to see what was up.
Awesome. Yeah, we just got done with everything I wanted to talk about, and we were talking to Dead Horse about 3D printing. It's awesome that we actually have someone in here who does lots of 3D printing. I've done a little bit of 3D printing, but I've never actually printed it myself. I just have it printed at my school.
Can't even get my inkjet to work right.
No shit, right?
So I've been working with programs that do FEA, so they do finite engineering analysis for you, so they can tell you where you have problems. So if I want to make, if I could get, so if you, let's say, hypothetically here, we'll use a gun that isn't quote unquote banned by Maura Healey in this state. We'll say, I don't know, let's say you want to do a 3D printed Sten gun. So what happens is if Dead Horse sent me the plans to a Sten gun, I could change the material to plastic in my program and then run a FEA on it. I'd have to put the forces from the bullet going out. I'd have to do all the force calculations, find out where they all are, and then I could figure out what dimensions I would have to change in order to make it safe to fire.
No, historically, I think the Israeli underground, when it was just the Haganah or Palmach, they made Sten guns right under the nose of the British Army, and before they were recognized as a country, and they had like little factories just in basements.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that, but I mean, my point I'm making is there's software out there that allows you to pretty much skip the alpha phase and go straight into beta testing. I mean,
well, the whole concept of the court case about these designs being downloaded is that it's not a Second Amendment case, it's a First Amendment case, and they're restricting the right of somebody to just speak basically before they even speak. It's not like you've said something and they want you to shut up. It's like they don't want you to distribute something that you've already printed. They don't want you to like say anything. It's like a complete preemptive, like pre-crime, pre-speech. the government almost never does that. So, and it's all, and they're doing this because of gun control madness. I mean, in spite of every statistic to the fact that like in the UK where they've banned guns, they're trying to ban kitchen knives. It's like crime goes up. The more gun control there is, the more violent crime there is, and it's like unmistakable. But people will get on media platforms of any kind and say the opposite, and most of the world has been brainwashed to believe that if like regular law-abiding people just own guns, that there will be violence. So and therefore the solution is to just take away guns from everybody. So and the statistics have just proven the opposite to be true. But so it's like, how many, if we violate enough of your rights, if we turn you into vassals and just cross out the entire Bill of Rights, and then everyone will be safe. And it's just bullshit. So anyway, I know I'm preaching the choir, so I need to get an alcoholic beverage. I'll be right back, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. I mean, you made some great points there. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the airport things was just great. It was so great. They're like, yeah, people are going to be killing you on a plane with a 3D printed gun. You know, I was waiting for them to coin a new term like assault plastic weapons or something. I was hoping they were going to come up with some sort of a crazy term. But
assault rubbers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would love to start doing some 3D printing, but I've been busy lately. As far as like a channel update, my dad gave me a truck and it broke down, and I spent probably over 40 hours trying to fix it and diagnose what the hell happened. Then my dad said, get it out of my yard, and my inspection sticker was up, so I had to do something with it, and I figured I was going to send it to the dealership. So I know this doesn't have anything to do with Every Second Matters, but that's what I've been doing. I diagnosed it correctly, which is cool, yay, but I don't know. I've been really busy with that. That's been taking up quite a bit of time, and now we're looking at a over $1,000 bill. So now I'm going to probably be even more busy. But I have been working, like I mentioned earlier, on that what was it, the AR-15 upper that is a side charging piston upper on a budget. Uses the AR Stoner upper side charging upper, and I'm using the Adams Arms piston kit, and it's working pretty well. I just got to drill the charger right now, the side charging handle into it. So right now it's pretty much a grease gun. You got to open it with your fingertips. It's kind of ridiculous, but. Anybody else want to bring up anything Second Amendment related that's going on in their neck of the woods? I'll talk a little bit about it. Anything going on in New York?
Same old, same old. The zombies are walking the street like they always do.
Zombies already?
No, just Democrats.
That's about the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, they're making you safer by restricting every bit of freedom they can.
Exactly.
So much safer. You know, we'll get
the problem is people are, so many people are blind that they allow the government to come into their lives, and the more control the government has, the more the socialist, democratic, Nazi party comes out. And like HV has said before, people are they're brainless, they're
brainwashed,
brainless, whatever. Eventually, something falls out of their head.
Yeah, I don't know how many of you.
And they think the government is the end all be all to everything, and honestly, it's totally the opposite.
Yeah, how many? I don't know how many of you guys get America's First Freedom from the NRA, but the latest edition had something on rampant violent crime in the UK, and there's some quotes from that are just unbelievable. Here's one from a retiring London Crown Circuit Judge, Nick Madge. And he says, quote, every kitchen contains lethal knives, which are potential murder weapons. Why do we need 8-inch or 10-inch kitchen knives with points? Unquote. I'm like, really? I mean, it's like the Association for Protection of Cruelty to Vegetables or something. I mean, really?
And the UK and the European Union in general is only getting worse. When you hear stories about people going to jail for speaking their mind.
Well, yeah, if you're referring to Tammy, what was his name? Tommy
Robinson.
There are a few of them. It's
Yeah.
not just one person. They've arrested quite a few people.
So for making a Facebook video across from a courthouse, he was sentenced to 13 months in jail for making a Facebook video because their excuse in the law, that the rationale was that according to British law, you're not allowed to comment on, you're not allowed to report on an ongoing court case until the ruling is complete. So, I mean, the court case could go on forever. So that's what he was doing. He was outside the courthouse commenting on a case, and that was why they arrested him and sentenced him to 13 months for making a Facebook video. It's like there's no free speech. They want you to turn in your kitchen knives now. And listen to what our favorite London Mayor Sadiq Khan said, and I quote, "No excuses. There is never a reason to carry a knife. Anyone who does will be caught, and they will feel the full force of the law," unquote. That's the mayor of London.
Yeah, so you haven't even committed a crime, but you are going to soon commit a crime. There's a great show, or maybe it was a couple movies, or I don't know. I've seen some stuff that's great about
Minority Report.
Yeah, Minority Report's one of them. Another one was this Japanese anime, and it was about detectives that could tell if people were going to commit a crime ahead of time, and they also would arrest people and they'd kill you. I think they'd kill you, and there was people who, if you had a high trauma, like mental trauma, then you'd also be taken away. So it's like it's only amount of time until each detective would end up becoming a criminal. That's like the epitome of statism, when it's like, you're going to become a criminal sooner than later. You're going to be arrested because you're too dangerous to have in society. Or I think they just kill him. I think, yeah, that's what they did. They just kill him right on sight. Like, so if a guy's raping a girl in an alley, they'd kill him, and then she was like, oh no, she's probably going to commit a crime too. Mental stress level's too high. Just take her out too. I don't know. But, yeah, so, yeah, touching on another point, like, these people are like, oh, the government's corrupt. These corporations are corrupt. They're in cahoots with each other. So how are we going to fix this? We're going to give the government a shitload more power, let them become a lot larger, and then there'll definitely be more checks and balances. And it's like, are you serious? Like, the government is super greasy. Like, one of the cases I brought up was the Florida prison system, right? A lot of people have a problem with it. People have brought up a lot of information. And it's like, you do know that these are government contracts given to these. Well, it doesn't matter. It's the corporation's fault. These are government contracts that are given to these prisons. You're telling me that nobody blames them at all. I mean,
let's talk about what Trump was saying just the other day about the embassy in Jerusalem. When somebody came up to him, he's the president of the United States. Somebody comes up to him with a piece of paper and says, "Here, sign here. We need $1 billion to build this embassy in Jerusalem." $1 billion. It's a government contract. And so he just calls up the ambassador over there and talks to him for 5 minutes. And they said, okay, we've got all these properties and let me call you back, and he can refurbish a building that they already own for $150,000. And Trump says, no, do a nice job and spend $400,000. So instead of spending $1 billion, which would have happened with any other president, any other president would have just signed it and moved on to something else.
And they would have been applauded.
And so he basically saved just short of $1 billion. and just by not being stupid. And the way the government, that's why when I try and explain to my friends in Europe sometimes that you say, well, we need the National Health Care Service, or we need free health care for everybody. Well, you're putting the government in charge of establishing the prices for everything, which means it's going to cost 1,000 times more than it would if you had a free market. So,
you're also exhausting the resources much quicker.
Yeah, you aren't going to be able to do it if the government is in charge. So you may have the best intentions, but putting the government in charge of pretty much anything is the way to guarantee that it just gets screwed up.
It's going to fail. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, capitalism relies on human greed, but it works. It's just, so when you tell them you can't have government-funded free health care, it's not because we don't want everyone to have health care. It's because you won't have health care. Everyone won't have health care. You'll just crash your economy. I mean, didn't Maduro just say socialism failed? So, I mean, we need to pump more oil like yesterday or something. And I don't, it's just, there's so many lessons. But I don't know, we're like way off of in the weeds from, I guess, whatever the topic was.
Well, I want to say something about what Rupin said. I agree, Rupin, and a good evidence for that is just read your history. Find one other government in all of history that was granted more power and it worked out well for the people. So just go back through, pick any fucking country, throw a dart at a map, and go walk up to that map and just read history. So it never works out well for the people. So there's a lot of evidence for that.
Absolutely.
No, yeah, it's a great point. But they're going to keep moving in that direction anyways because they know better. So jumping over here, I just saw this article. Can't believe I didn't see this before. But it's from 2 days ago. They're moving to regulate 3D printed firearms. Congress doesn't act in this area.
When is a court case going to be heard on this? Is it already at the Supreme Court, or is it moving up, or where?
I'm not sure where it is right now, but I'm looking at this right now. Of course, it's David Linsky. He really does not like firearms at all.
Well,
looks like he's coming up with a bill. He's going to come up with a bill. So what are they going to do? They're going to ban owning the files, probably.
Yeah, it's a blatant First Amendment violation. It's like preventing it's pre-talk. It's like they're putting duct tape over your mouth so you can't talk at all. I mean, if you yell fire in a crowded theater, that's one thing. But this is like when you walk in the movie theater, they tape your mouth shut. How do you eat your popcorn?
AWAG was already saying that the state of New Jersey has banned websites like that have that information on there. And I'm like, wait a minute. The state has the authority to block you from seeing websites? Yep, they've had it for a long time. I had no idea. That sounds like something they do in North Korea, not New Jersey.
And Nazi Germany.
That's crazy.
Oh, look at this. He wants 3 elements in his bill. He wants to require a person to have a state license, in addition to a federal license to manufacture firearms. Ensure the state law covers 3D weapons, and make sure a serial number system is in place for all firearms, whether they're manufactured in a factory and made out of metal or whether they're manufactured out of plastic for your own home. We need to make sure there is a way to trace every firearm, no matter why or where it's manufactured.
See, the thing is, the law, as far as I know, has always been that you can make your own gun. you just can never transfer the thing. You can even copy somebody's new design, just as long as you don't put it up for sale. It's for personal use only, and
you
never.
can't transfer it. You just got to Form 1 it, just as if you're doing an SDR or something.
Well, then you would make a serial number for it. Then if you transferred it, right? Though.
Correct, and the serial number will be your first initial, last name, your city and state, and then whatever number you deem.
So I'm talking about if you never serialize it.
Then you can't sell it.
Then you can't sell it. So this has been going on forever. People have made crude guns when there was crude technology, and more sophisticated ones when there's more sophisticated technology, and different people have different skill sets as far as their ability to work with metal or plastic or understanding heat treating or ballistics or whatever it is, and buying some of the parts off the shelf and making some of the parts themselves. What if you've got an antique gun and you can't get a part for it? You make it. So this has been going on for forever, and it just the fact that they're bringing it up now, the only thing I can rolls right back is we will all.
You're roboting, Squib. At least it sounds that way to me.
Yeah.
Always have access to guns. If they confiscate all of them, they don't want us to be able to make them, to make parts for them, to make ammunition for them, whatever it is. I just think it isn't really so much of, and I'm not into conspiracy theories either, but this isn't really so much a criminal epidemic that we need to nip in the bud now. It's a, holy crap, if we do find a way to confiscate the guns, or we convince everybody to turn in their guns,
You're roboting again.
You're roboting really bad, Squib. And I know you're in the middle of a good rant, so that
it's a bummer.
I don't even know if he's hearing you say that.
Never mind then.
The NSA is quirking you, Square. They're roboting you out. We're not hearing you.
I'll send him a text. Hang on.
Yeah, I like this. This is what Healy's office said. The proposed rules would allow information about certain military weapons, such as semi-automatic firearms, previously considered critical to national security and public safety, to be uploaded to the internet. And then here's Jim Wallace from Massachusetts Gun Owners Association. People can already make their own real guns if they have the parts. It's perfectly legal to do under both federal and state law. If they're worried about technology getting into the hands of the wrong people, we already have guns getting into the hands of the wrong people, and it's one of the things that we're very angry about already. Listen, if these people want to use their authority and their political soapbox, how about using it to force the judges to put some of these guys in prison that are getting out on ridiculously low bail for committing nasty crimes with real guns? Now, there's a list that I'm not sure if Gold started it or Mass Gun Rights started it, but they're just kind of keeping a list of how many people are repeat offenders that get with gun charges that get constantly let out on low bail and then commit repeat crimes. The list is huge, by the way.
Here's my thing. If you commit a crime with a gun, you're done. That's it. Period. There shouldn't be this constant, oh, it was just a misdemeanor, or it was this. No, you used a gun, you're done.
Well, I mean, they're going to, that one guy who killed, I forget what, the Falmouth police officer, he had been arraigned like 118 times that year already.
Now, I agree with, I can't see the screen to see who's talking. Is it Gizzard that said that he, if you commit a crime with a gun, you're just done, right?
It was Crazy Scotsman.
Oh, okay, sorry, I can't see the screen. But I can see where you're coming from, and I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't, because they try and persecute law-abiding gun owners as criminals all the time for using their gun for self-defense situations, or not shooting a guy, just pulling their gun, then they get charged with brandishing charges and shit like that. So I see that all the fucking time. Good people doing the right thing, because like being turned into criminals. So when I think, oh my God, let's really fucking go after him hard now, man. How is that going to be going after the guy who saved his daughter from being raped and now is being charged with brandishing a gun?
No, and I agree 100%. The thing is, though, is they're being judged by 12, so it's up to those 12 to make sure they're making that right judgment.
You have way too much faith in the system. There are lots of law-abiding citizens who use a firearm lawfully who pay the price. They're treated like a criminal. I understand your frustration with the criminals that get out and repeat offend. I totally get that. But the gun is the tool. And that's what we've been saying. Every time there's one of these incidents, we say the gun is the tool. Blame the dirtbag who did it, not the tool. So if you say we're going to go after them harder because they used a gun, then you're playing right into the anti-gunner's hands.
Yeah, like murder is already illegal. It doesn't, matter if they used a gun or a knife. Like if we put extra charges on it, if it was a gun, or same with like a bank robbery. Like armed robbery is already illegal. It doesn't matter if it's a gun or a knife or a bomb or whatever, or just a note, right?
I was simply talking to Rupan's point about if they're a multiple offender.
Okay, yeah, multiple offender, I totally agree with, because like the average guy who's defending himself that's not gonna happen multiple times, right? So I missed that part. Sorry. So yeah, multiple offenders, yeah, definitely. But don't they already have like a 3 strike you're out rule? I thought they already had that rule. Like,
apparently that doesn't work with illegal immigrants.
It doesn't work in this state, I'm pretty sure. That guy had been arraigned 118 times. And
that's because the reason it doesn't work is because nobody in the government has been taught how to count to 3.
Well, that's it. Shit, look at the guy in California. He was an illegal freaking immigrant, came back 5 times and then killed a girl. And guess what? Now they finally like, oh shit, we should have caught this like 3 times ago.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty ridiculous, I don't know. I'm back and forth on that a little bit here and there. I mean, there's so many illegal guns in this state. It's unreal. Crime is insane. They're just gonna keep blaming, the guns. Keep blaming the other states for looser crimes.
Are they gonna keep calling NRA members terrorists?
Yeah. When I was roboting, I was saying that I'm not into conspiracy theories, but it just sounds to me like some of this stuff is a long game for the other side to say, let's find one more avenue where we can block them from having access to guns. If we convince everybody to turn in their guns, if we confiscate all the guns, if we close down every gun store, we get rid of all the guns. Oh, crap. They can make their own guns. So we've got to find a way to do that, too. Like I said, I'm not into conspiracy theories, so this is kind of going that way, and I don't really feel comfortable with that. But
yeah, the next thing I know, you'll be buying Bitcoin because you realize you don't need the banking system anymore.
Why would I waste my time with Bitcoin?
Welcome, David.
So the government can't control your money. And just, people, if you live in, I think it was Philadelphia, I believe. They're putting liens and repossessing people's houses using old gas bills that were never paid. If like they went through their computer records, the gas companies, because Philadelphia is broke. And
I wish they'd do that in Detroit, because what they do, if the people in Detroit don't pay their electric bill, their gas bill, or their water bill, guess what they do? They make all the people in the suburbs pay it. They don't take their house. They make the people in the suburbs pay it.
Well, they'll just boot everybody out of the house, and then all the crack people will move in.
I wanted to say, it is a good point. I got to really pay attention to that bill, and I need to do a separate video on it. That Representative David Linsky, he's going to make it illegal to manufacture firearms without a federal license. That's going to really affect me in this state.
Just at some point, you have to realize that you don't need the government as much as they need your money.
Well, no, wait a minute. If you got an FFL, does that mean you wouldn't have to pay transfer fees anymore? Just transfer it to yourself?
I guess. It's going to be kind of a pain in the ass, though. They're going to go after everything. So they're going to look up those laws. Oh my God, Massachusetts residents can make their own guns. We need to ban this. So they're gonna slowly come after everything. So I gotta have to do a video.
I just don't see them going door to door and demanding everyone's firearms and having a long lifespan. I mean, that would be the worst, most. It's like if you don't want to live, then join that team. You know, I mean, you have a death wish.
Midnight Range Tim just popped in. Looks like we lost David.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I saw the link. I figured I'd just swing in and see what's up.
Awesome. Hey. We're just doing a little every second matter. He's talking about E2A stuff right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I hear a sous chef join?
That's it. Just us gravy cooks, you know.
Never get out of the boat.
What's up, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. How you guys doing?
We are
up here at the restaurant.
Awesome. Yeah, we were just talking about a couple things that were happening in Massachusetts. We brought up, the whole ghost gun thing and some other fun stuff.
No, yeah. Well, nobody's ever been able to make a ghost gun before, so this is all, hot topic news. Nobody's ever ground a serial number off or made a gun to their house. So, I mean, it's a big deal, right?
Oh, yeah. You better be scared right now.
Yeah.
Well, imagine what happens. Imagine what the future will be like at the point in civilization as a technology. We invent replicators. Just imagine how is the government going to control us after we invent replicators?
Well, I know that's crazy because then you replicate one gun and then all the guns have the same serial number. That's a whole different set of problems.
Yeah, we'd be replicating our phasers.
That's right. Our Illudium Q38 space modulators.
Well, don't they? Replication is different than hand phasers. It's a different technology, and just when it happens, they're going to actually have to rely on. At some point, I'm wondering when the people are going to realize that each person is responsible for themselves, their own well-being, their own safety, and it's not the government's. The government can't do that. So, when they founded America, it was to make a more perfect union, and sometimes I think we're going backwards instead of forwards. But I guess we'll just have to hope for the best.
Yeah. Oh, David's back. Hey, David, welcome back again.
Yeah, it kicked me out for a second.
I brought up Florida for some reason. I can't remember why.
Think of this. Think about maybe you've got a friend who's a computer guy, he's a technology guy, he's got a 3D printer or 2 or 3 at his home. He doesn't make gun stuff, he makes other stuff. He's really into computers and technology. He's got the newest, latest, greatest stuff all the time. He writes his own code. He's just really big, but he's a hardcore latte drinking left-winger, hates guns, hates gun owners. You guys are friends or your neighbors or your coworkers or whatever. And he doesn't like the fact that you're into guns and all this other stuff. And then you tell him, so how do you feel about this 3D gun thing? And don't you think it's a First Amendment? Oh, no, it's not a First Amendment. It's not safe, blah, blah, blah. They shouldn't let people have the plans, blah, 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 blah. And then you tell him, well, the plans have been out there for a long time, and once it's online, it's online. You can't get rid of it. So what if they just decided they wanted to come to your house and take away your computer and your 3D printer and maybe even lock you up for a while and question you because you've got the technology to make these gun parts? Well, I would never make those guns. Yeah, but
what if they made caffeine illegal? Yeah, and you can't have latte.
Yeah, you're gonna need a permit to have a 3D printer, and then if you don't let them inspect your 3D printer, or Google doesn't automatically figure out how to just know exactly what you have because they probably will manufacture every 3D printer will be like some kind of Google 3D printer or something, and they will insidiously try and control everything. And
if you tell a left-winger who's a real big techie that they've got to have a special government license to have this printer, the government can come into their house at any time just to make sure that they're not doing anything illegal with it, and that they've got to renew the license, and it's an expensive fee, and they've got to go through training or indoctrination or whatever it is. Suddenly they'll be like, oh, maybe it is a First Amendment issue. Well, no.
But the government doesn't need to come into your house when Google's already in it. They just need to do a deal with Google. I mean, Google will become the government, or Apple will. Apple has now reached $1 trillion in market capitalization. I mean, Apple Pay,
Alexa will listen to you.
Apple toasters, Apple refrigerator. They're gonna know what you're eating, what your temperature is in your house, how many dishes you washed, how many dirty dishes are in your dishwasher. They're gonna know everything, including what software and plans you have on your computer, for sure. There's going to be anything about your computer that they don't know, and they don't need to come into your house to figure that out.
And they'll know if you're making Monte Cristos in a pan.
They don't know if you have Bitcoin. Oh wait,
they don't.
That's for sure.
Sounds like Ellis is in here.
Shot 256. Shot 256.
It sounds like Darth Ellis is in here.
SHA 256 encryption, baby. They won't know shit if I don't tell them. Only 3% of America has reported their Bitcoin to the IRS. It's like, and it's against the law not to report your Bitcoin. It's like, at least if you have a taxable event and like trade it for some other cryptocurrency. I just did that like a couple days ago. I got some Digibyte, but whatever.
Who's drinking a drink out of a straw?
Not me.
That's what it sounds like.
John Z.
I think somebody's vaping.
John Z.
Oh, I thought someone was hitting the bong.
I thought somebody was like getting a blowjob, but okay.
Stop finger effing the mic. But no, does anybody else have anything Second Amendment related they want to bring up? Anything going on in your states? Anything important to worry about?
Well, yeah. Unless you want me to talk about the Young versus Hawaii case, I guess we're going to have to wait and see how that progresses. Now was sent back to the district and circuit court, and from the ninth appellate court, which I read the line where they actually said, unlike for better or for worse, the Second Amendment protects the right to carry outside the home. So they've already ruled that it doesn't protect concealed carry. So the only thing that's left is open carry, and nobody has ever on Hawaii Island issued, or in the state, as far as I know, issued a carry permit of any kind. So they sent the county sent a really inexperienced lawyer who fucked up so bad. But anyway, either there'll be another 11-judge panel like there was in the Peruta case, and they'll overturn that, and it goes to the Supreme Court, or there'll be the district court will make a ruling, then that'll be appealed up the chain to the ninth, whichever way it gets decided, and then until it gets to the Supreme Court, unless SCOTUS orders the police chief under penalty of death to issue a permit, he won't issue a permit. So the Supreme Court may just have to rule that, okay, Hawaii is now constitutional carry, whether it likes it or not, because the government here will never, they will never issue a permit to carry. They just won't, no matter what anybody on the mainland says, even the Supreme Court. I mean, that's so. If I want to carry, if I feel like my life is under threat and I need to carry, I'm not going to open carry because people will see me. The only way to get away with carrying is to conceal carry and hope nobody figures it out. So it's just a question of the government here is broke. That's why, you know why the state of Hawaii didn't send anybody to the Ninth Appellate Court? They didn't have the money to send a lawyer. I don't know how the county got the money unless they spent some federal volcano money relief to send this kid. For anybody who actually, there's a video of the case, argument of the case on the Ninth Circuit Court YouTube webpage. You can just Young versus State of Hawaii on after you do a search for it on their the Ninth Circuit Court's YouTube channel, and you can find the case. I don't know, it's about an hour of judges trying to ask some questions of two different lawyers, and one was from like a Second Amendment lawyer for Mr. Young, who basically just got fed up and sued everybody, the governor, the police chief, and the mayor for not issuing a permit ever. And he's applied several times. And what's that? Rick, by the way, I bought my dad had his 83rd birthday today, and I bought him some gunpowder soap from Strike Industries. He seemed to like it.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Dead Horse. You ever tried that soap before?
No, I haven't. I'm looking forward to trying it, though. I heard it was pretty good. I heard it smelled good.
It's plant-based, so I guess it's probably good for you. I haven't bought any for myself. I just got one for my dad for his birthday, and I'll wait to get a report from him on it. So,
alrighty. I'm sharing this just because he's got 5 days left. Rick's Life, as I see it, is trying to get some spotted Rick patches and stickers made up. I'm totally guessing he's getting it. He's already got someone who's going to help him out. But if you throw in, there's different levels. I kind of named everything the same, but you did throw him a little bit. He does two good shows. There's Shooting with Disabilities, and he does Rick's Life as I See It. Shooting with Disabilities, I think, is Wednesday night at 7, and Rick's Eastern, and just Rick's Life as I See It is Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And they're fun shows. I usually catch them on the Rewind over on iTunes, but they're interesting, good shows. I don't agree with everything he says or whatever, so it's real fun to listen because I don't want to listen. I don't need to listen to things I only like to hear. I got to listen to what everybody says. Good to. I guess you could say it's kind of an echo chamber, but I don't know. I enjoy it. That's a lot of noise, huh?
Now, can you post a link to that to Rick's? Is it a Patreon or a?
It's a GoFundMe, but it's under his name, not as his show too. So it's Rick Mitchell. So if you look for it, you got to look for that.
It was kind of hard to find it, actually. It was not. I don't know if he didn't do tags correctly, and it was harder to find.
Yeah, he didn't do it as his show. I think people thought he would do like Rick's Life as I See It or whatever, but he just did his name. So you have to just go over there and check out, search for Rick Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh, something unrelated, but my buddy picked up an M110 receiver. Not receiver, upper receiver, yeah.
M110?
Yeah, the military M110 like DMR. Was it a DMR? No, what the heck? Am I wrong? Maybe he pulled up a different one. I thought he said it was an M110 copy, and it looks kind of like the M110, except I thought it was in 5.56.
Wait, M1s are...
Yeah, they're 7.62.
7.62 by 51? Right, okay.
Yeah, 30 cal, but... And I'm confused as hell. And this one looks different. This one has a different barrel nut. His had this weird barrel nut. It was definitely an AR, so I don't know. Whatever it was, it looked kind of like an M110, and it was definitely like $2 or $3 grand he paid for that And then he's getting the optic on there, and the optic was like, I think like another $2,000.
What's an M? What is that? I've never heard of that.
I'm screen sharing it right now.
Is it just a military AR-10?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Ooh, that's pretty.
M110.
Now you can actually pick them up. Apparently, yeah, because they're only semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic sniper system, a precision 7.62 NATO caliber, gas-operated rifle. Highly acclaimed for its battlefield. 7.62 is a very common for sniper. What's the usual that the 7.62 weapon that the Army hands out to its snipers?
A Remington 700? I have no idea.
Yeah, probably it's a Remington. Is what the Army usually hands out.
So what makes that different than an AR-10? Or is that just the military designation of an AR-10?
It probably has super
Like
expensive
match.
everything.
Yeah, it's like a match. It's like a match setup or something.
I wouldn't even.
Scroll down to the price.
I don't see the price here, but it's got the CAC trigger in there, which is super. You're looking at like $400 probably. The glass on there is probably like $1,500. The free float rail, super expensive. Gas block. I mean, everything on here is probably just astronomical. I bet that pistol grip's very expensive. It's got like, look, it's got a finger groove right there.
You see where the upper receiver and the lower receiver meet back by the rear tower. So instead of it being a radius right there, you see how it's a nice flat spot. It's like a 45-degree angle, right? Yeah. So that creates a much tighter fitment between the upper and the lower, and much more repeatable, and better to machine and make multiple uppers fit multiple lowers. So they come out with a more consistent gun than the AR-10 platform, and that really aids in accuracy. Just that one feature right there alone, just the stability of the upper on the lower.
Yeah, my buddy has a Mark 12 clone, and I couldn't believe how loose the upper was on the lower. He's probably put like a couple thousand rounds through it, and it was looser than the most loose M16 I've ever seen in my life while I was in the Army was. Couldn't believe how loose it was. I guess that happens, but I mean, I can't help with accuracy when you got super loosey-goosey. But I don't want to rag on him too much because I'm still jealous that I don't have one. So
you can't own every gun.
I know. I really wanted to pick up a 16-inch MP5, but that truck's repair bill is going to be so much that's never happening. Oh,
yeah, well, I've kind of been getting to the point where I think night vision is really what I'm going to need next as far as a major purchase. And I think watching a few, in between watching like today, Africa's Deadliest on Nat Geo Wild, and how they hunt at night, and that film that I saw about Benghazi, 13 Hours, America's Secret Soldiers or something in Benghazi. They used night vision to defend the embassy, and it's like, man, it's like, I think the reason that people don't get into night vision is because you don't really need it unless in a grid up situation. If the grid goes down, you're going to want night vision, but you don't need it. So you can get by without it. You don't really need it until you need it. You don't need it. So, but it's one of those things that if the grid goes down, you're going to really want to own the night and not, or at least not be snuck up on at night. And
you try looking at some cheap Russian stuff.
Well, there's the inexpensive American stuff. If you look around, you can get night vision goggles for $500. I've seen a scope for I think an ATN for like $1,000 or something, and it's so you don't have to go $20,000 optic top of the line for night vision, but you can get
ATN has the new HD series, and they go for about $450 for the 3 to 12, and it's also a digital like camcorder, right? So you
$450.
Yeah, and it's also a digital camcorder, and it'll
what's the
record
range? What's the range?
It's 3 to 14 power the way it comes out of the box, and then when you update it, it'll go to like 18 power, and that's the small one.
The power of the optic doesn't necessarily translate to what the range of the night vision is, I think.
Well, they have videos on YouTube, but it seems to be under a couple hundred yards, you know. But there's definitely guys who are out there who have videos with that same optic that have videos on YouTube that are taking hogs at 150 yards in the middle of the night in Texas. So it's become really, really super popular with hunters because it's affordable, and they get to record their hunt to put on YouTube or show their buddies, like, "Oh, look at me."
Well, that would be a dumb thing for me to do because there's no it's illegal to hunt at night here, but I don't really want it for hunting. It's just that nobody really wants to spend the money on it because it's not something that you really need unless the grid goes down and you actually need it. You don't need it until you need it. And when
that's the cool thing about the M1, dude, is that it's in the daytime it's just a regular scope that can record your shooting target like groups or whatever. So
that's useful. That's really useful to get video feedback of what your mistakes are. I mean that was one reason I started just recording my range trips is because I could see what I was doing wrong.
And there's some drawbacks like battery life. I heard that, you know, the batteries are only good for about like 45 minutes in it, right? Unless you buy like an expansion pack and stuff like that. So there's definitely, you know, for $450, you're going to have some drawbacks probably, right? But just as an entry level, they're pretty highly rated. I mean, like, you know, like I said, for getting into one for $450, that's not bad. So that's what I'm going to put on my 6.8 SBC. And I'm definitely going to try one out, but I'm going to buy mine from Amazon. So I can click on the, you know, extra 2-year warranty that Amazon can offer and stuff. Just that's what I'm concerned about is the longevity of that optic after firing thousands of rounds through it or stuff and being hauled around. How is it going to work 2 or 3 years from now? That's what concerns me.
Which are some good concerns. Hey, let me, David, what do you think about the M110?
I think it's overpriced for what you're getting. I mean, we've already got a couple systems we're using right now that get the job done. I don't see this.
What is the price?
Oh, this thing, I bet you it's looking, just the rifle alone, you're looking at almost $3,000.
I heard it was more than that. I think my buddy spent a buttload on the upper.
I thought I want to say it was for the M110. I want to say like it's a kit. Like what I saw was a kit. It comes in a hard case and it comes with like a sling and a bipod and it comes in a whole fucking kit with the scope and everything. Right? It comes like set up, dude. Like it comes with the rail panels, all that shit, right? And I want to say like that whole rifle was like 10 fucking grand. It was a lot, dude, for the whole that whole kit. I don't know if they sell it by itself, but what I saw, it comes in a big plastic case, like a nice hard case, right? Like a military style hard case, and then even inside that hard case, I think it had room for like another hard case just to hold your pistol in it. Like it was crazy, and it was like 10 grand. So.
Yeah, that's ridiculous for a 308 Zapper rifle. I mean, you can, if you're going to lay down $2,000 and put another $2,000 in an optic, you're going to have one hell of a 1 MOA rifle, maybe sub MOA if you're going with a 20-inch or 22-inch barrel, sub MOA all day long with with probably military grade ammunition, 30 cal ammunition, 147 grain, you know what they do in 30 cal belt fed machine guns. It's probably still shoot sub MOA.
That's not bad. So What would you say? What would you rather build in its place or buy in its place if you were looking for something like this?
That optic's only $1,000 optic, by the way, just so you know, in price on that gun. They're just Leopolds. They're like a Leopold Mark IV.
I thought he was saying it was something. He was picking up something different. Oh, he said so. What was the glass that he was talking about? Let me look.
Mark 6, maybe Loophole.
What was he?
Those go all the way up
Well,
to
they might have
$4,000.
changed. Well, yeah, they might have changed them since then, but I think originally these guns all came with this Leopold Mark IVs, and it's like $1,000 scope.
Aren't they pronounced Lupo?
I'm fucking American, dude. I pronounce everything American.
But it looks like Lupo to me just looking at it, but okay. Whatever.
Yeah, if I wanted to replace this, I would do it with something lightweight, preferably an 18-inch platform rifle, because for a 30 caliber 308 cartridge, being the fact that you're shooting mil spec ammunition and not match grade, you can only expect, at best with a 22-inch barrel sub MOA, maybe right on the border of 1 MOA. But with an 18-inch, you probably 1 MOA to just under 2 MOA. And that's really what you're looking for that rifle to perform at, is 500 to 600 meters, maybe all the way out to 8. But if you're pushing it any further than that, it's just not going to do it. I mean, even with the best man behind the piece of equipment, pushing a 308 with an 18-inch barrel past 800 meters is going to be kind of hard to get accurate hits on.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, okay, you're spending a truckload of money here for a rifle that might not do as well as something that you can pick up for $500, right? Is it just like, I'm not a big AR guy, right? I have an AR, but I'm not. I like my bolt gun. So, what for you guys that are big into ARs, what's the draw to something like this versus a bolt gun that is going to be more accurate for a quarter of the price? Is it just the fact
semi-automatic?
Yeah,
semi-automatic. It's a force multiplier. You can gauge multiple targets at a rapid rate, which is going to get you people to withdraw. If you're banging, even if you're a sniper and you're banging with a bolt gun and people are out at 200-300 meters and closing, you're changing directions when you're firing. So you're changing, you might be firing a 30-degree spread of people moving up on you, slowly trying to surround you. A semi-automatic rifle is going to get that done a lot easier than a bolt gun, even if you're real good at running a bolt.
I hear you, and I get that in the military aspect. But I mean, for the average person, like, would you guys pick this up over a bolt gun if you were looking for something to take to the range over, and you're shooting 500-600 yards?
Not this
would you
gun.
guys? Yeah, would you? That's what I mean.
I would.
Is anybody here going to splurge for something like this so they can have?
Yeah, guys who want clones and guys who just want to play G.I. Joe on the weekend, or guys who want nostalgia because they were in a unit and carried one of these.
And that's the case for my buddy. I actually meant this rifle, not the M110, the Mark 12. And he actually used one, and that's the reason why he wants it.
Yeah. The reason I got my M9 was because I carried it in the Marine Corps. The reason I built my AR-15A2 with as many GI parts as I could get was because I shot an M16A2 in the Marine Corps. If I had the money, I'd probably get a semi-automatic M60E3 because I carried it.
Why not a full automatic? Go full auto, dude.
The full auto would cost so much more. Plus, there's just the ammo bill. But it's impractical. The semi-auto version or the full auto, it's impractical for me. For that amount of money, I could do so many other things. But there are those people who never were in the military who want to have the military stuff or as close to it as possible. Because, like somebody was saying, they want to play G.I. Joe. Hey, it's America. Do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And That rifle right there doesn't come with the scope or the suppressor, so that's about a $2,000 rifle.
It's probably if I'm going to bug out to Dusty's farm, I want to buy you an M60, dude, so you can have one to cover my ass.
Yeah. So this is the exact
Feel
that barrel
safer.
nut I was telling you about. That's the barrel nut that was weird to me. It's free floated. The gas block is not covered by the rail, and he's got that weird. I forget what the front looks like, but yeah. So he bought that upper, and he's got the glass is coming. And I thought he said he carried an MP5 most of the time, but he's really like he paid some guy to build this for him, like a custom make it. So a lot of money, and he's got the Night Force scopes coming in. The glasses coming in the mail. He's been waiting to put this.
Night Force, dude, that could easily be $6,000 for the glass.
So, he wants that gun that's never going to break if you're stupid and dumb and drop it everywhere, apparently. I mean, it's just the clone. The clone is very important, the clone aspect, which I totally get. I got my friggin' Adams Arms side charging piston gun. I'm all excited about that. That whole thing's like under $400 to put that upper together. And he's like, "Oh, I'm happy about my $2,000 upper." So
Yeah, I got a buddy with a Barrett 50 cal with a Night Force on top of it. That cost him $9,000 used, I think.
Yeah, and if that's the 50 I'm thinking about, that rifle goes for $9,000, brand new, with no optic.
Yeah, I remember when they were in the $7,000 range. I remember I was at one of the local stores and they had one, and I want to say it was almost $8,000 at the time. And I go, dude, how can you justify it? He goes, I sell 2 of these a month. So he didn't care. He was like the Harley dealer. Hey, buy it, don't buy it, I don't care. Somebody's going to buy it,
I saw some old guy at the range, and he had it wasn't a Barrett, but he had a 50 cal rifle.
Yeah,
and it was loud. It was very loud when he fired.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely in the market to buy a Barrett or a
Classic Firearms just sent me out an email like in the last couple of days for 50 cal Barretts, I think. So check their website.
Yeah, I'm really thinking Serbu because I live in Florida and they're local. And
you could go down to Shooter's World and get one. I bet you could go down there tomorrow and take one. I mean,
I can go to 3 different places and pick up Serbu or Barrett. I think they're M109s in flat dark earth. Anywhere I want at 3 different places within a 10-minute drive of my house right now. Anywhere from the 8,900 to 9,400 to like $12,000 with an optic. Yeah, and you can shoot them at the ranges that I go to too. It's just that the thing is, if I pull that much money out of my 401k or out of our savings account, you guys may never see me again.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I mean, to Midnight's original point, I mean, how many people are going to spend that sort of money? Some people do, some people can. I mean, we can all pull out a credit card and buy one of these things, but you'll be paying that thing off forever.
I know, but that's one of those things that it's just like, ultimate. Okay, I've got a credit card. Let's do it.
Well, you can also rent one. There are lots of places where you can rent one.
Optic not included on this Mark 12 complete rifle. $3,000, no optic. So what are you looking at? Like $5,000 by the time you're done? 5,500. I mean, what are you getting? Like, is this like a guaranteed 1 MOA or?
I would think that they would be sub MOA because DPMS, before Freedom Group purchased them, they had an SASS rifle system that you could purchase, when the DPMS were getting their barrels from Faxon, and they could shoot sub MOA at 400 or 500 meters all day long. And they were, I think you could get one for less than $1,000. And if you bought one used, I think they were going for like 700. Now, this wasn't during any of the craziness, but, I mean, you know, if you're just wanting a rifle that looks like what they're carrying, but, you know, or if you are a, you know, rich person that wants the real deal, then I see you know, always like, you know, the guy that buys the Ferrari or the Porsche because
Lambo.
or the Lambo, just because he wants to pull up at the what is that place called? The coffee place, Starbucks, and have all the women look at him and all the dudes drool because of the car. And, you know, there's always going to be that guy. And then there's going to be the military guy that actually used it in combat and may have come back just recently with a
somebody
big,
has actually
huge
used the
paycheck.
Lambo in combat?
No, but I mean, I get what you're saying though. I do like to go to the range every now and then with something different and get a couple looks. I gotta say though that more so lately, I've been looking at other people's stuff. They ain't been looking at mine, so I need to get on the ball and get something expensive or different. But yeah, it is kind of nice to go to the range and you know, especially if you're the kind of person that'll let somebody shoot your gun. I don't believe in saying no, as long as the person isn't a jerk about it. If somebody wants to shoot a gun I've got that they're interested in buying, or maybe they can't afford and they've always wanted to shoot one, here, go ahead, bang away, you know.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to take off.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping by, Gary.
Yep, thanks for the invite.
Take it easy, Gary.
Yeah.
Have a peaceful
See you
evening.
guys.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got some of those Faxon 14.5-inch barrels with the pinned and welded muzzle brakes, and those are about as accurate as, or more accurate than any other barrels I've had from anything else. So I don't know. I mean, I'm also not doing 600-yard shots, but
yeah, that's what is going on, because what you're looking at, Rupan, is you're having a bullet that's going supersonic speed, which is over 1,150 feet per second, and it's creating behind it a wake turbulent, almost like a boat up on a plane. And basically, when it starts going subsonic, that wake, just like in a boat, that catches up to the back of the boat and smacks it and destabilizes the boat. So it does the same thing to a supersonic bullet. The lighter the bullet, the more the destabilization. The heavier the bullet, the more it will self-correct itself or continue mildly, maybe disturbed. That's why they want a longer barrel, to get more velocity, so the bullet will go further before actually hitting subsonic speeds.
yeah, that makes sense. You know, I mean, but I know some of you guys popped in a little late, and yeah, I'm just getting really tired, man. I got to be up like 7 hours, and I'm tired as hell. So I'm gonna have to shut this down. We'll run it through the room.
Brother. Well, you have a good night, Rupan, and thanks for the invite, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
I'll see you guys. See you, man. Thanks for the, link.
Yeah, it's great that you posted Every Second Matters. Today is the second chat, so it's cool.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by, Squid. Thanks, HBS. Thanks, John Z. Thanks, Dead Horse. David, again, awesome. Thanks, everybody else who jumped out early. Crazy Scotsman, Roosted Films, and Gizzard Gary. It's been this one went a little long, but no big deal. We were having some fun, chatting about different things. And a lot of people say this: don't be afraid to turn on your own camera and start doing stuff. Obviously, I had to post this on my other personal channel because I still cannot stream, cannot go live until September 7th. So next month,
Why? Why?
Because of a shooting video, they claimed that I violated their firearms policy.
Well, I'm sure I violated their firearms policy, but they didn't do that to me. I guess I'm just don't matter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a video of me shooting a Faxon barrel gun, and yeah, there was links to Faxon's website in the description, but that's not a company that, you know, as far as the way I read it a couple times, I'm not breaking any rules.
Yeah. All I know is I've had it with Google but I don't I won't start. I'll let you shut down the chat because if I start on a rant, we'll be here for an hour.
Yeah, we can pick that up later. But David, were you saying something, David?
Oh, I was just wondering. So, what happened? They shut your channel down for 30 days or something?
For 90 days, they took away my screen going live capabilities. That's why we're on my private channel right now, my personal channel. Yeah, they said I violated the terms, so I guess you can't put any firearms website links in the description anymore, or otherwise you're going to get ganked. Apparently, so just have to show it on actually itself. What midnight left? Well, hold on, Siri's writing down every word I say. Apparently, she thought I said her name, but yeah. So I appealed it, and I never heard back from them. I never even saw that they had even checked or even looked at the appeal. I was thinking about appealing the second time, but it says do not appeal again. So I don't know.
Yeah, dude, that's typical of YouTube and Google in general.
Yeah, do not appeal again. Well, I appealed the first time, and I've heard of other people hearing back within 7 days or something. Well, it's been a good amount of chunk of time, and I haven't heard anything from them. So,
how many subscribers do you have, Rupan?
I think like 270 something.
You're not going to hear back from them, bro.
Yeah, I heard other people who did not have a lot of subscribers and actually did hear back and did get live streaming capabilities back. So I forget who the other guy was, but when this all came down, this all happened at once. Like a bunch of people got strikes.
That's wave. When the kids from Florida were that's when they were all going on to YouTube and just striking channels. And like everybody that had a Florida channel got hit, except for Tack Daddy, I think, because his children go to the school that happened at. Yeah. So a bunch of people were hit, and a bunch of people that have the channels here in Florida got hit.
Yeah, getting banged up.
So it's not just the First Amendment of 3D printing that they're going after. They don't want a specific point of view on social media. Anything that they disagree with is evil and must be banned. It's just it's kind of not American, but
yeah, we're gonna keep going with it. But all right, everybody, have a good night. I gotta get the hell my ass to bed.
Later, brother, man.
Get some sleep.
We're just gonna use your room if we can for a little while.
You want me to leave it up? Yeah, I'll leave it up.
No, don't leave it up. Go and close it. But I was gonna stay in here and bullshit with David.